Alright, so carrying on into this first stanza, last time we picked off we were talking about this fell down on my knees. Alright, and then after he plays that, he plays this quick bass placeholder. And now we're going to go into this next page. This is the second page on the Crossroad Blues tab. If you don't have the ebook, definitely check it out. So in this next portion, he's playing a combination of 7 notes on this lick, and it'll sound like this. And again, it's playing the combinations on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings on the 12th fret. Alright, so in this 5-note sequence, he starts on the 2nd string 12th fret, then goes to the bottom string 12th fret, back to the 2nd string, and then to the 3rd string 12th fret. Again, that 3rd string on the 12th fret is always capping off the end of that lick on the 12th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Playing with the index finger. So he plays 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he slides all the way, pulls off on the 3rd fret, 3rd string. Then he plays the 3rd string open, and then playing the slide on the 5th string, bottom string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so that's pretty simple, straightforward. Again, we've already sort of played that in the introduction. No need going over that again. So here he does something a little bit different here. He sits on the this next measure here. It will sound like this. Alright, and what he's doing here is he's taking his slide and he's going to be barring the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings on the 3rd fret. He's going to be playing all 3. You play that 3 times. And you're toggling with the slide, but not pressing down too hard. You want leverage. So you play that 3 times. Then you play it open. And then you play the 3rd fret again. And then open again. So 6 notes, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And after he plays that open string at the end there, he again plays this placeholder combination lick. You play the top string on the 6th string, and then you play the 5th string open. Okay, so you play that. So this sequence altogether sounds like this. And again, I'll play that really slow. It's alright. He plays that, and then he again repeats that lick that we played in the first part of that measure. Plays that one more time. We already covered that. So the 3 together from the beginning of this phrase sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I won't count it out there. That seemed a bit confusing there. So I'll play it one more time. So it's a combination of three things here. So this first part is, then the second part, once again, the third part, and then he plays this chord to cap that off. So those are those three parts. This, then the next part is, then this last part is, he essentially plays it again. So at this chord which caps off this one chord or arrangement here in this first stanza is a 7 chord here, and he's playing this like brisk strokes. Watch what I'm doing with my right hand. I got my thumb playing the top and my middle and index finger playing brisk upstrokes on the first and second strings. And the chord that you're going to play here is you're going to take your middle finger, you're going to play the top string on the 3rd fret. Your bottom, your pinky or whatever, is going to play the bottom string on the 3rd fret. And that's the chord. That's like a Charlie Patton chord. So that's a 7 chord here. And like I said, you're playing it. You're not even playing the middle chords in here. You're just playing this double stop. So he plays that a combination of 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, something like that. It can be played loosely and fluidly. It's a chording arrangement. Alright, so that is the introduction all the way to what we're going to look at now is the 4 position. He plays this 4 chord. So we're already at that stage. But so far what we've looked at is this finesse playing on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings on the 12th fret with the slide, and then you're playing these rough chords on the 3rd fret with the slide. So everything right now has been carried by the slide. A lot of playing with the slide, and now we're going to be looking at the chording here. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's take a brief pause and we'll look at the 4 position here, meaning the 4 chord, and yeah, we'll look at that here. Alright, so we're already at the portion of the song where Robert is playing this. Alright, and we'll go ahead and play that. This follows after what we just looked at was this. After this chord, yeah, I went to the crossroads, lay down on my knees. And we're going to go ahead and play that. So anytime he goes into this 4 chord position, what you're going to do to play it is you're going to bar the entire 5th fret all the way up to the 5th string with the index finger, and your pinky is going to play the bottom string on the 8th fret when it's its turn, and your index or your middle finger is going to play the 6th fret 2nd string when it's its turn in this melody. But in order to kick off this chord, he again starts with this placeholder bass lick. want to start off by playing that combination bass lick. And then after you play that, you position your hand. Like I said, you're barring the 5th string, and then you're going to play this combination here. So in this sequence, there is a combination of 7 notes. The first note out of that you're going to play, you're going to bar the 5th string. I'm going to take off my slide for a second just so it's a lot easier for you. So you bar the 5th fret, and your pinky is going to play the bottom string on the 8th fret. That's the first note in this 8-note sequence. So you play that. Watch what I'm doing with my right hand. I'm pinching together. My index finger is playing the bottom string, so that's the first note. And then you play, and you come off of that and you play the 5th fret barred. That's your second note. 1, 2, and then the third note in that sequence, you're gonna take your middle finger and play the 2nd string on the 6th fret. Okay, so the first 3 notes are 1, 2, 3. Then you play the 5th fret barred for that 4th note. Then back to the 8th fret bottom string. So the first 5 notes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he sits again on that 6th note. It's again the bottom string 8th fret. And then you end on the 7th note. The last one in that sequence is on the 5th fret. So in all it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how it's played fast. So it's I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. So he plays that sequence. He plays that twice, and in between those 2 times he plays this placeholder bass lick. So with the words, it's I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. On that combination, this 4-position, this 4-chord is an arrangement that he plays across the entire song. So whenever we're in that position, incorporate that combination, followed by this placeholder bass combination lick. So that's the 4-position chord there. And immediately after he plays that, he plays a brisk series of 4 strums on the 12th fret with the slide, featuring the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. And it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch what I'm doing with my index finger. It's. And now with the slide, you have even more, a very loose dampening of the strings on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. You're hardly pressing on there when you're playing that portion. So he plays that 4 times with his index finger, and after he plays that, he again plays that placeholder combination. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that comes right afterwards. So again, that 4-chord position from the beginning sounds like this. that's how it comes together. So I'm going to go really slow here from the beginning. I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I'm trying to sing the song so you see where it fits in as you're playing the chord. Now I'm not going to sing, and I'm going to play it even slower. So I'll play in that chord. And then he plays that lick, and that is that. So afterwards he goes into this Stones in My Pass Away kind of country melody with these open tunings. And that's what we're gonna showcase next. So the 4-chord position is very easy and straightforward, and it's something that reappears across the remainder of the song. So it's something to get down pat. So we'll go to the next. Okay, so proceeding further along, we just looked at the 4-chord position. Alright, and the portion now we're looking at the 3rd page in this song. If you have the ebook available with you, we're looking at the first measure on the 3rd page at the top, and we're going to be playing this portion. It's this kind of country rhythm that's also features in Stones in My Pass Away. But it's a really cool combination, and what he's doing is he's harmonizing a melodic lick here, which features on the bottom string 5th fret, bottom string 3rd fret, and then bottom string 2nd fret, and he's playing a combination of an open chord while fingering that bottom string. So this first sequence here is a combination of 7 notes, and they'll appear like this. Or 7 notes here will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, and what he's doing here is he's going to be playing you're fingering the bottom string on the 5th fret, and you're going to play the 4 strings down. Okay, and to play that you could either play with downstrokes or with upstrokes with the index finger. So you play that sequence 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to go to the bottom string 3rd fret, then to the bottom string 2nd fret. And then you finish off on the open string on the bottom string. The bottom string open, he really plays that really briefly, and I'll show you the rest of that lick here. So he caps off the lick here with this 4-note combination. Sounds like this. And what he's doing here, this 4-note combination, is he's finding the 4th and 3rd strings on the 3rd fret. He's pressing them upward. Then he plays the 4th and 3rd strings open, followed by this quick placeholder bass lick. So when you have the notes combined together, the first 7 and this last 4 that I just showed you, it sounds like this. And I'll show you how to kind of play it together. So from the beginning it's... And so what he's doing in this transition is he starts off with this chord combination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is when he goes from this he plays this lick on the bottom string, this real fast. So he plays that real fast. It's this bottom string 3rd fret, 1, and then the bottom string 2nd fret, and then the bottom string open. And immediately after he plays that, he plays this lick on the 3rd fret, 4th and 3rd strings. Right afterwards, and he bends upward and he sits on it for a little while. Then he plays the open chord, followed by that placeholder bass lick. And that's how you play it kind of faster. So the combination sounds like this. Notice that what I'm doing on the right hand is index finger is controlling the 1st and 2nd, 3rd strings. And that's that kind of Delta blues rhythm. I'm not really even playing anything in the middle strings here. It's this combination of upstrokes, and then the down with the thumb you're playing the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings, and in combination. So that's that lick, and after he plays that, he plays this chord combination, maintaining this chord again, the bottom string on the 5th fret. You play from the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string open, and then the 1st string on the 5th fret is fingered, and then you just go to the 3rd fret, maintaining the same chording, and then you just sort of go back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's this kind of country rhythm, which I love. What I'm doing with the right hand are these brisk upstrokes. Chop, 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 chop. That's Delta style sounding. So that lick in its entirety sounds like this. And that lick is going to feature again throughout the song. So I'm going to play it really slow here, and it will sound like this. So that's that sequence, and again it features again. So after he plays that sequence, he jumps into this unique 5 chord, this F sharp 7 chord here, typical in Spanish tuning. That you already now are on the 5 position. And you're about to go into the next stanza, but here is where it's approaching at the end. And this is a little bit tricky here, but this is the portion of the song where he goes, "Ask the Lord have mercy. Ask the Lord above have mercy." Oh my God, I wasn't in tune there, or in key. And here's how it follows after this country lick. Ask the Lord above have mercy. The transition into that measure again is this brief pause, which I talked about in the introduction, and you still have to remain in timing. So looking at this 5 chord position, we'll talk about the chord here so you know where you're playing. And what you're going to do is you're going to be playing sort of like a D7 chord in regular standard tuning, except that you're your pinky is going to come off the bottom string. So you got your index finger fingering the 1st fret 2nd string. Your middle finger is fingering the 2nd fret 3rd string. And that's that chord. And then periodically he plays a little, he takes his pinky and he plays the bottom string on the 3rd fret, and he plays that twice somewhere in there before playing it open. So he plays this chord 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As the Lord above have mercy. So that's that chord, and I'll talk about the transition to that chord. So before we played this country lick. As the Lord above have mercy, Lord. There's that brief pause there, and I'll have to count it down. And again, going back to this country lick. As the Lord above have mercy, Lord. So in the portion where he goes, when he says the word the Lord, is when he starts playing those chords. So it's, ask the Lord above have mercy. Ask the Lord above have mercy. Again, that brief pause. Ask the Lord above have mercy. Brief pause. You kind of want to tap your feet to serve as a metronome there. As the Lord above have mercy, Lord. I'll try to go as slow as possible. This is really hard to teach this particular part. The pauses are what make and break the song. So it's, again, that country rhythm. As the Lord above have mercy. So that's that portion, and after he plays that, he plays this placeholder lick again. And then here is the part, I still can't figure this out in timing. This is the greatness of Robert Johnson. Is this next part he plays, say for Bob, please. So after this portion on the 5 chord, say for Bobby, please. And what he's doing there is, after this 5 chord position, he plays this combination on the bass strings, this placeholder, and he's playing kind of what we talked about earlier. It's going to be 4 strums with the slide on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings on the 12th fret. It's 4 strums. And again, your slide has leverage here. You're not pressing on it as hard. Say poor Bob if you please. And in that sequence, he's saying, save poor Bob if you please. Save poor Bob if you please. And in the portion where he says, if you please, he's already playing that bass placeholder lick. You play 4 strums of that. So the transition together is, as the Lord of mercy, Lord, save poor Bob if you please. I'm trying to explain that as best as I can. It's borderline impossible at this point, but it's something it takes time with playing Robert Johnson's music. So again, it's this. Say poor Bob if you please. So he sings that portion there, and it's loose and fluid. And then after he plays this, say poor Bob, if you please, he goes back to this country lick, is what we'll call it. And then he stays in there for a little bit. So that is the first stanza. And that honestly features the most variety of our fluctuation between measures, and then the rest of the stanzas are basically the same and a little bit easier to manage. So going back from the beginning, reiterating what we talked about, is we started off with this country rhythm. That's how all of that ties in together. So now we're going to look at the second stanza, and then we'll continue from there.